I am the director of the international programs.
I am the communications coordinator, the immigration liaison, and also am the program coordinator for Vietnam adoptions.
My job title at Alliance for Children is Program Assistant.
I am the director of international operations for the foundation or the humanitarian aspect of the organization.
My job at Alliance for Children is birth parent liaison. Typical day at the office for me is not typical.
There really is no typical day. Um, it depends on what's going on. You can go in with a plan that I'm going to answer my emails, work on some website edits, and then something could come up and you just drop everything. You don't get anything on your to-do list done, and you just go to that thing. Or it could be something with a domestic adoption, which I don't do, but if everyone's scrambling, sometimes I need to jump in and help there, or answer the phones that day because everyone else is crazed. So a typical day is just nothing typical happening.
It varies so much from day to day. It's never the same day twice.
I became obsessed with adoption like 4 years ago when I was studying international relations at BU, and I watched a Netflix documentary about international adoption, and that is what got me into it. Thank you, Netflix.
I got into this work by meeting a woman who was a social worker here a number of years ago, and she had told me about this job. And so I applied and I was hired in 2004.
I was working for a corporation, a for-profit corporation, and just didn't feel like I was making a difference in the world. I felt like I was making a bunch of people rich, but not helping anybody. So one day I just thought, you know what? I think I'd like to work in human services and help people. And so it just so happened that a job at Alliance for Children was available, and I interviewed many times and got the position.
I had decided early on that I wanted to work with children in some capacity. I wasn't sure exactly how, but I just love children and wanted to work with them or for them in some way. So I I worked for a missing children organization. I worked for, um, it's called Guardian Ad Litem, where you're working with children that are in the foster care system and advocate for them. Um, I've done a lot of different things, and adoption was one aspect of working with children that I hadn't delved into before. So I was actually living in Florida, and I moved back to Massachusetts, and I was looking, for jobs at the time, and this came up. They had an opening at the adoption agency, and I always kind of knew in the back of my mind that I would work for an adoption agency. So that's what got me involved initially, and I really enjoy it.
I studied Russian language in college, and when I finished school, I was really interested in human services and nonprofit, and I worked for a couple of human services agencies before coming to Alliance, and the job at that time was for an assistant to the Russia adoption program. So it kind of combined my interest of the Russian language and culture that I had studied and the human services piece that I really liked. It's definitely meaningful work. When you see the fruits of your labor, it's very inspiring. And I think that's what keeps all of us going. It's hard work, but it's good work and very rewarding.
A lot of people say that working in adoption is really hard, which is true, but we have little successes every day, such as a really thankful family who all they've done so far is the application and they already are so grateful and excited. It's the little victories like that that keep us going and seeing children go home. This is only my 4th month here I've worked at another adoption agency before, but this is my 4th month at Alliance, and so just around now, I'm starting to see things happen with families that were new when I was new. So it's going to be exciting, kind of the first family that I see all the way through to their child coming home.
I continue to do this work because I am very passionate on helping children. My whole life has been based on babysitting my nephews. I just have a passion for helping children who are in need. It's something I've always been interested in. And what's more important than finding families for children who need them? I would tell people who wanted to adopt that it can be the most amazing and frustrating journey. There certainly can be some bumps in the road, but you just kind of have to get through them and know at the end of the process, through everything, you will have the child that was meant to be yours.
The journey will be, it could be long, it could be arduous, but if you are committed to it and you believe in it, it will end. The journey will end with you being a parent and a child having a family.
They're very nervous. Obviously, one of their biggest fears is that they're afraid that once they place their baby for adoption, that'll be it. The adoptive parents won't follow through with contact, won't provide them with updates, that they have their child and that's all they care about. So that's a really scary thing for, birth parents to face. And so I try to do my best to reassure them that, the agency will do everything possible to help them through that process.